and will not be in crisis. There might be
pray,
instability.
one day we still call you
It will not flow, my sister. It will not. Please. Thank you.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay too. It's okay to you too. We make this impeachment seem like, you know what? Let me just move on. Chris calls from Rumo Krusi. Hello, Chris.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Chris calling from Rumo Krusi.
All right, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I want to respond to the Supreme Court's pronouncement on River State political brouhaha today.
Yes, especially local governments. That's the focus for this hour.
On the issue of local government. The good thing about it is that they did not ban the local government chairman, the incumbent local government chairman, if they conduct election again from contesting.
Mm-hmm.
So if they conduct election 10 times, weekends can be used. So that is the good thing about it, because people are on the side of the River State government, both the state government and the current local government chairman. So that's on that. On the issue of Martin Amebule and his group, I think the court has not made a definite pronouncement on the issue of defection.
Yeah, that's pending.
The Supreme Court was silent on the issue of defection, which is a constitutional issue. They cannot overlook the Constitution. They cannot overturn what the Constitution stipulates.
Okay, Chris. Well, for time, I cannot continue with that conversation. After the break, we talk. Stay with me. up 2 of our hours. In the previous hour, we talked about the court recognizing the Martin Amehude Assembly, and in this hour, the same court nullifying the Rivers local government election. And I'm asking important questions connected to this. How does this nullification affect the local government structure, especially as former LG chairmen are insisting, or maybe just one, that they still are the chairman of their councils?
With the ruling of the Supreme Court today, and in obeying all laws of our land, I am still the chairman of the Ikore Local Government Council as pronounced by the Rivers House of Assembly led by Martin Amehude. We want to commend our lords of the Supreme Court. Democracy is operated on the Constitution and the rule of law, and today they have done justice to those.
The words and voice of Samuel Wanosike, the former chairman of Ikore Local Government Area. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. 0817-923-0002. Oh, let's see. I think some justice can and should be done to Facebook. While I'm trying to get that, Owanete Clinton West on WhatsApp says, the nullification of the LG council elections by the Supreme Court does not mean that the immediate past government, local government chairman will come back as chairman. The immediate past local government council chairmen have completed their 3 years. Honorable Wanosike should forget about coming back as local government chairman. Owanete West says, okay. And, let's see. Okay, I'll get back there. Melody says, the same Supreme Court that upheld 2019 election after acknowledging the election as a theater of war and blood, why would Supreme Court annul an election where no one person was even slapped? You're kidding me right now. Okay, after it upheld one, it's called the theater of blood. Well, it said that the Electoral Act was contravened. That was the reason given. So regardless of a slap, that's the reason. Oracle, this case is clear, unless we want to deceive ourselves. From a motor show to appeal court and now the Supreme Court, all of them saying the same thing. Even Governor Fubara, why blaming the courts? I think what we need is a peaceful solution. It is the legal counsel of the governor that are incompetent and advising the governor wrongly. I think something needs to be done fast so that it will not lead to anarchy. Okay? That's according to Joe. And Saken, you have some thoughts about Wanosike? Because I can't read it as you have sent it. Obviously, I'm not okay with attacks and insults. But yes, you're against his position. Good afternoon, Oracle. It is my firm view that the defection case is not properly before the Apex Court. Therefore, the Supreme Court's pronouncement today on Amehude is just an obiter dictum devoid of any legal potency. Also, the Apex Court's pronouncement in respect of the local government election to the effect that same did not comply with the Electoral Act is unfortunate and shameful. I believe for now that it is an obiter because the elections into local government councils is regulated by RISIEC law and the local government laws of River State and not any other. Definitely not the Electoral Act referred by the Supreme Court, which is focused primarily on federal elections conducted by INEC. And for Wanosike and his friends, they cannot resume as local government chairman because the judgment of Justice BGQ of River State High Court is still extant and subsisting and yet to be set aside. Donatus Saro from, Mark Esquire. I was supposed to have a comment about that Electoral Act thing. I don't know why it left me, but it will come back. Gift calls from Yenugua. Good evening, Gift. Hello, Gift. Right, we have...
I can hear you now.
Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay. So the truth of the matter, let me start from Honorable Samuel Wanosike. The reason why he put that caveat, if you remember, when the struggle was ongoing, Chike Martins Amehude came up with a particular law, and Supreme Court upheld that very law. Anybody who wants to carry out his or her research should do it immediately. The Supreme Court said houses of assembly and National Assembly, State Assembly, they have the right and the power to extend local government chairmen where the governor or the state government is unable to conduct a local government election based on the time of expiration of those persons who are on board. And that was what played out. In fact, this election that they nullified, do you know that there was not even budget for it? Nobody talked about it. Just from nowhere, you woke up from the bed, you decided that tomorrow is election, and that was it. So Supreme Court was very right, and what Samuel Wanasike is saying, the House of Assembly that has the oversight function at the end of the day, they will come up with that very law. They will tell you, go ahead, one of the judges in the state, do it. If you refuse to do it, they themselves will take it up from that very point. So nobody should doubt what someone wants to say.
Thank you very much, Gift. Moving on, JJ calls from Port Harcourt Town. Very quickly. Good evening.
Yeah, Sam, good evening.
Good evening.
I think what Samuel Wanasike is saying is campaign after elections. Let's, how will I put it now, without conceding, right, that what they did was right. I agree without conceding right now, right? When did their tenure expire? I think it was on the 19th of June this year. Count from 19th of June till today, how many months? I remember when, what's the name? Andy Uba said he was governor in waiting in Anambra. I remember that story, right? That there was vacancy, and later the Supreme Court said there's no vacancy, and he went to court to declare him governor in waiting. And at the end of the day, the Supreme Court said, look, there's nothing like governor in waiting. So applying that to this, I think it's just boxing the air and shooting the wind at the end of the day. So for me, I think you should just rest, because these are the people who are hell-bent on causing trouble. Okay. At the end of the day, I don't see anything coming out from it at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Joseph calls from LMA. Good evening, Joseph.
Yes, Oracle. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. I am not bothered about the statement of Simon Wanasike.
Why?
But I am worried by the fact that what is happening in Rivers State.
Joseph, can you turn off your radio, please?
All right. It may plunge the state into crisis. So they should tread with caution. Imagine Martin Amehule Assembly along, that is part a B for elongation of tenure, and that 6 months has elapsed. I wonder from which angle he's coming from. So if he's speaking as a former local government chairman, he should speak in that regard and not as a local government chairman. So he should wait for when the Supreme Court will determine the status of the assembly as in regard to defection. That is where everybody's hope lies on. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Joseph. Good day, Mr. Sam. I ask what those celebrating Supreme Court's ruling today again. Okay, I'm going to take this again, and hopefully this time. I ask what we those... Okay, Bogata, please read your message and maybe send it again. Good afternoon. Until the defection case is finally settled, the Rivers people will now respond to the people who never wanted this state to progress democratically. The Rivers State will never continue to be in one man's hand, Ezenye Chima from Omerilu says. And he goes on to say, let Wanasike allow the good people of Ikwe rest because he has finished his tenure. And that is the end, whether he likes it or not. And judiciary will soon create anarchy if care is not taken. Chima once again from Omerilu. Okay, Supreme Court outcome is a welcome development, and it has opened the eye to our democracy, telling us that tyranny is not knowledgeable in leadership in a democracy. Okay. Iber Stanley says, Simon Wanasike, of course, he says he doesn't agree with Simon Wanasike, reminding him that a competent court nullified the tenure elongation made by Martin Amehule Assembly and ruled that the tenure has elapsed. That is from Stan. Okay. And Michael Newmold says, Oracle Chinedu, do you know that in sincerity, I'm not understanding the judgment of the Supreme Court, and for my sanity, I choose not to understand it any further. I rest my case. Well, I don't know how to help you. Let's go back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, Chinedu, good afternoon to you.
Good
evening.
Good evening.
Onkwando Obina is my name.
Go ahead.
You see, in my first analysis I told you that the Supreme Court ruling on Rivers matter is far from giving a peaceful solution to the political impasse in the state. This local government ruling, you can see now Samuel Wanosike has been shouting from somewhere that he is still the local government chairman of Ikwere local government. Before you know it, Chidi Lloyd will come from Emoha and others. And the way all these things are going, it is not, bringing peace to the state. So I think that the Supreme Court did not do us well in all this ruling. And now it is, for me, I think it is going to place a lacuna on the leadership of the local government. So finally, my brother, I am not happy, and I think it is not a welcome judgment, both for that of the House of Assembly and that of the local government, because the judiciary should have done not only give judgment, but give judgment to the people, but they didn't do so. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be speaking with Mufasa in a matter of moments, but let's see a few comments on Facebook. Roosevelt Berre says the law is the law. Okay, and Fidelis Elemoa still on that platform. I pray for peace in our dear state. Junior Precious says we all knew that there wasn't any election held in River State last October. Rather, there was what he calls a coup, who, with their own knowledge, decided to conduct an election when the Assembly had on several occasions called for the governor to start preparation of the elections, but to no avail. Only after the extension before the expiration of the councilmen to 6 months, the governor deemed it necessary to ask RISIEC to start preparations of the exercise to counter the Assembly. RISIEC failing on her part to follow the electoral law by collecting the update electoral register from INEC. The Supreme Court only did justice and gave fair judgment. Okay, back to the phone lines. Mufasa calls from NTA Road. Hello, Mufasa. Good evening.
Yeah, hi once again, Sam. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I want to say that whatever we do today, we should always remember that posterity will be waiting for us in the front to judge us for actions and inactions.
Yes, indeed.
I laugh when they say there's an extension of office. Sam, there's a reason why the word tenure of office is actually, imputed in our law books. Okay? So, are we saying today that tomorrow the Senate will just wake up and say they are extending the tenure of office of the sitting president just because of certain, vested interest that is not in any good for the general public? So for me, I want to say that, in order for us not to cause chaos in the society, those people who are drumming the drum of war, saying that they are still, council chairmen and all of that, they should understand that the people, like I've said before, the people have the largest say in democracy. And the power of the people always determine and decide what should be and what shouldn't be. For me, assuming without even conceding that the interpretation of the pronouncement of court today stipulates that the people who are seated as council chairmen today no longer have the authority to sit. Those who are outgone, there's Samuel Wanosike and his co-travelers, they have no right to lay claim to that position.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, I'm listening. Thank you, Mufasa.
Yes, fine. I want to say that they have extended their tenure of office. Some of them spent 7 years, some of them spent 8 years in office, including some that served as caretaker.
Okay.
So power is transient. You cannot remain in power. It is not your birthright. It was given to you by the people, and you have outlived your time in office.
All right, Mufasa.
So that it will cause problem in the state.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ken calls from Obimini. Hello, Ken. Good evening.
Good evening, SOC.
Good evening.
SOC, I was told by my father that if I go to somebody's house and the person front at his face, because of maybe he is eating or he was eating, that I should behave maturely and come back home. Samuel Wanosike was a chairman of a particular local government. By law, according to them, everything now is law. They had extended the tenure of another chairman whom you and I may not know or do not know. But he is behaving as if he is the main person, the rightful person to benefit from that extension of tenure. That is number one. Number two, I believe that this judgment had made it to start afresh. But I pray that the government of the day will follow this judgment constitutionally and diplomatically. Okay. Because what the Supreme Court had done today is to put River State in the state of where you and I will not prospect. The same Supreme Court who gave a deadline that they should conduct an election, that there will be no caretaker, is now the same court that has nullified local government election in River State. I'm very, very disappointed.
Sorry.
Thank you very much.
They will find a way. I have two Chimas on the line. The first should be from Rumokuta, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Good evening, Chima.
Hello. Oracle, it's Chima from Rumokuta,
all right.
Actually.
Go ahead.
Mr. Oracle, an election that is not properly done in a place that is being governed by a constitution, how will it stand? Now, you were here initially when we were shouting it, that conducting an election that the INEC did not give you voter register card, you are denying some group of persons that registered that period from them carrying out their own choice. You deny them. An election in a democratic government where the police that is fund for the democracy is not participating. How would you say that election was not mine with illegality? Now, let us come to law. According to what Deep I told you, it is on the Supreme Court judgment. You understand? That in a place whereby the governor fails to conduct an election in the stipulated time, that the assembly of the state has the power to elongate the tenure of the elected because caretaker is not in the constitution. So I think that there should be an anaconda. So something I want to say it's 99% right for what he said. Because when you have refused to hear something, when people are saying it, this will be the result. And one thing again, for those people that are talking about divinity, this is not the time for it. When rapture comes, we'll go and discuss it there.
Okay.
Understand? It is clearly stated.
Thank you, Chima.
Forgiveness is God. It's God that will forgive you. Go and meet him.
It's okay.
I'm talking about constitution.
It's okay, Chima. It's okay. Thank you. It's enough.
Thank you.
Go. Come and be going. And another Chima. Hopefully I have an easier time with this one. Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Tan.
Good evening, the second Chima.
Oh, yes, Mr. Tan. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
I thought I would have how that judgment, although I have not read the judgment and on what basis, because I know the last time I checked, the voter's registration is a public document that everybody can have access to. You understand? So I don't know on what basis they are not that local government election. Then on the somewhere one of the, I think just like JJ said, that the extension that has even expired. Then there is actually a subsisting court judgment that are not that tenure elongation made by Martin Samehuli. So I don't know where he want to start from. Does he want to come back? Because we heard about it allegedly
Hello?
Hello.
No, he no cut you off, my brother. Na network.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Yes. What I'm saying, allegedly, the 5-story building, somebody want to complete it because the situation, what I'm hearing is so much. They are even ready to chase governor out of
Chima, this conversation has nothing to do with that building. It is on the Supreme Court ruling. So whatever you heard is not relevant for this. Okay, so we're 2 minutes away from wrapping this conversation up. I obviously cannot squeeze in a call. There is a lot that has happened. No, there's a little that has happened, but it has led to a lot as regards reactions, counter-reactions, speculations, controversies. And the court is supposed to bring clarity, right? Because the idea behind the verdict is that all sides' evidences have been assessed, statements have been taken, defenses have been presented, and after analyzing it through all the professional and all the, however you want to describe it, they come to a conclusion that while some persons might be aggrieved because it's a court case, right? It won't favor everyone. We can all stand and say, well, I may not like the court, but I can see how they got here. Now, if these rulings create more problems than solutions, I'm not questioning the process because I don't have the power to do that. It's the Supreme Court. But I'm concerned about stability, which is why in the previous hour and this one, my questions are phrased around what it means for the local government structure and for the political crisis. And so if this creates more problems than it provides solutions, you can understand how that affects a group that I am passionate about, which is the Association of Common Men. It is disastrous for the common man. So let us hope, because that's a very good friend of mine, hope, that some clarity, some stability, and governance can happen. But if that's not the case, oh well.
Nigeria Info. Right back after this.